Good evening and welcome to the Primetime News on MITV. I am Jumoke Michaels. Let's look at the headlines. Pengasan begins protest over oil theft. 2023, focus on local elections, federal government urges Nigerians. Chairman, PDP Board of Trustees Walid Jibrin steps down. On the foreign scene, Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, dies aged 96. And in sports, Toby Amuson breaks 22-year-old record at Diamond League. Welcome again. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, on Thursday, urged Nigerians to pay more attention to local elections in their domain during next year's general and successive elections in Nigeria. He said rather than put all focus on the central elections and who becomes the next president, it was important that Nigerians divert their attention to elections in their local government areas, local council development areas, State House of Assembly, and that of federal lawmakers. He made this known at the annual lecture of the niche with the theme 2023 Elections and the Future of Nigeria's Democracy, held at the Muson Center, Onikon, Lagos, on Thursday. Those present at the event include the First Republic politician Tanko Yakase, former Delta State Governor James Ibori, former NIMASA Director General Dr. Dakuku Peterside, among others. He said those saddled with responsibility of ensuring Nigerians enjoy dividends of democracy are those in local elective offices, and as such, the people must be interested in local elections as against more attention being paid to central elections. The federal government has said it will be training no fewer than 2,000 Enugu State citizens through its skill acquisition scheme, Project T-Max, a technical and vocational education and training. Government says that scheme was in line with its focus of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by 2030. The Senior Special Assistant to the President, Muhammadu Buhari, on Education Intervention, Fela Bank Olemo, stated this when he led the Project T-Max team to meet with the Enugu State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. He said the federal government has opened an online portal to enroll people between the ages of 18 to 35 in the skill acquisition program. He explained that Project T-Max is a program approved under the National Steering Committee on National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Samuel Otuanya, the governor commended the federal government poverty alleviation program.
Saying what are the centers you have in Enugu State? How many centers do you have in Enugu State? ITF, being the implementation agency, is certifying those centers, and we spoke to like 24 or 29 centers today at the ITF's training center here. We met with the 29 of them and said, you know what? You have your activate centers, you are playing in this space. What is your capacity? And most of them tell us that, okay, I can take 100 people, I can take 200 people. So what is T-Max saying? T-Max is saying, I want to take the capacity you cannot feel. So the activate center that can see the 100 people.
I note that we only have 7 pilot states. So it is a huge honor to Enugu State to have been chosen out of 36 states and Abuja. So I want to commend the President. We want also to say that this project T-Max is in line with the government of Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi's determination to...
This project is a very noble one, and of course it is akin to what has been observable in developed economies. They do it and have been doing it when they, after training them, they give them startup packs. Sometimes they give them they even pay for workshops for them.
It will really reduce the unemployment level, because you cannot, with skill in your hand, you cannot go home. That is the truth.
Members of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria on Thursday commenced a nationwide protest over crude oil theft. Mitv reporters at the Unity Fountain in Abuja observed that the oil workers carried banners with inscriptions such as "Chasing oil thieves and vandals out of business" and "Oil theft is illegal." Speaking at the march that started from the Unity Fountain in Abuja this morning, Pengassan President Festus Osifo said President Muhammadu Buhari should give a marching order to heads of security agencies tasked with the security of oil pipelines in the Niger Delta. He also threatened that oil workers will withdraw their services should the government fail to take decisive action against oil thieves. The chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Walid Jibrin, has stepped down from his position. The national chairman of the party, Iyorchia Ayu, made this known on Thursday at the opening session of the 97th National Executive Meeting held at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. Ayu, who announced the resignation of the former chairman of the BOT, also announced that Senator Adolphus Wabara would act as BOT chairman. The PDP chairman, while commending the former BOT chairman Walid Jibrin, said the decision was reached to ensure the party's presidential candidate emerged victorious in the 2023 general elections. Also, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to sustain its effort in conducting a free, fair and credible election come 2023, while the acting chairman of the BOT, Senator Adolphus Wabara, urged members to remain united and avoid the use of provocative utterances. The presidential candidate of PDP noted that the party in its entirety will work to resolve all the internal conflicts in the party to give peace a chance and move the party forward toward the forthcoming election.
I want to announce to NEC that today the chairman of the BOT stepped down to enjoy his remaining months in his leave. He has served us meritoriously over the year as a foundation member of the party. We want, on behalf of the party, to especially thank him for all his services over the years, which culminated to his being secretary of the BOT and ultimately
we must, as people of goodwill, as believers in democracy, encourage President Muhammadu Buhari and indeed INEC and all security agencies to ensure that we have free, fair, transparent election.
We should watch and control our utterances, because by and large we don't know. It's only God that knows tomorrow. As a political party, we have our constitution, we have our rules, we have our regulations. I want to urge that no matter the level of disagreements, our disagreements should be resolved within our constitution, within our rules, within our regulations, and within the precedents we have already set up for.
I, Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, representing Anyocha Oshimilifera constituency. I'm from Delta State and also the minority leader by the grace of God. I move this day on the 8th of September 2022 that a vote of confidence be put before the NWC for their doggedness, their forthrightness, and their professionalism most especially in giving us Osun State, and I believe by extension they will give us Nigeria.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has strongly called for the empowerment of women and youth, who are the most of the time vulnerable to economic downturn. The PDP chairman, Lagos State, Philip Ivoji, who disclosed this while speaking at an empowerment program by Honorable Ogene Ima-Ego of Amuward of Fee House of Representatives in Abuja, explained that there's the need for government to retrace its priority towards helping the women and the youth. Ivoji noted that the present administration has reversed the steady growth of Nigeria's economy, and it's time to bring back the lost glory. On his part, Ogene Ima-Ego stated that the poverty level in Nigeria can be eradicated through different empowerment programs.
Electorate, I want you to stand firm by PDP. We have done it before. Every agency that is existing in Nigeria today was brought about by PDP. Every good construction road was brought about by PDP. Every good thing that you can identify with was brought about by PDP. PDP is coming back again, stronger and better. You can expect the best by the grace of God from PDP.
A lot of parents cannot afford to train their children. They want to do fashion designing, they want to be tailors, but they don't have the resources. So we decided to train them first, and then we procured the machines. You can see the machines here, 100, and we are giving it to them, and so they can go and start doing their business. The economy is very hard. There are no jobs. This is the only way we can help them. Like the saying goes, you give somebody a fish, you fish it for one day.
In another development, factional governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Ogun State, Otunba Segun Sowunmi, on Thursday, declared that nobody had enough resources to buy him off the ballot in the forthcoming elections in the state. He also dispelled rumors that he was being sponsored by certain interests to scuttle the chances of the party, insisting that the primary election conducted by the Adebutu camp could not stand, and that the one that produced him as candidate followed all the rules. Sowunmi was responding to a question on whether he was being paid to cause crisis in the PDP during his pre-campaign interaction with journalists in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. He said, contrary to mischievous reports that he was being paid by some political leaders to cause crisis in the state chapter of the PDP, his ambition was built on improving the socio-economic condition of the state with what he described as the New Deal for Ogun people. The governorship candidate, who was the spokesperson for the Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign in 2019, said it was not only irritating but also insulting for anyone to insinuate that he lacked the capacity to run a good campaign, whether in terms of resources or not.
In this part of the world, we're running the risk that we're going to say that people who go about with a lot of humility are poor. You know? Let me say that again. It appears as if in our part of the world, we're coming to a point, if we're not very careful, where we think that people who go about with a lot of humility and reverence are without means. It is unfortunate because normally what we know about life is that humility is a virtue that God likes. First of all, a penny has not come. In fact, I've even insisted that a fundraising should not be done.
Ahead of the 2023 general election, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dumebi Kachukwu, has vowed that the party will not sell its political mandate to any other party. Kachukwu, while addressing critical stakeholders of the party in an interactive session in Abuja, stated that no one can sell the party, adding that he is battle-ready with legal means to fight for the party and its interest. The presidential candidate, while lamenting about the state of the nation, urged party members and Nigerians not to sell their mandate to greedy and selfish politicians. He therefore asked political parties, particularly the ruling party APC, trying to buy over the mandate of the ADC, to desist from such fraudulent acts and retrieve any payment made to anyone in the party. The chairman of the ADC Caretaker Committee, Pratisha Akwashiki, earlier urged all party members to embrace peace and work in unity to win the forthcoming election.
If the party is not good, nobody will fight over the party. So you are the candidate of the party, and I wish you the very best. Anytime we go for occasion and they play music, we dance. That is what party is all about. That you.
When you fight evil, it's always the right thing to do. Evil always thrives when good men keep quiet. Evil has tried for 17 years because good men kept quiet.
The Nigerian Defense Headquarters, DHQ, has disclosed that more than 252 Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP terrorists have been eliminated by troops of Operation Hardin K in the last 2 weeks in the northeast. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Dammadami, made this known at a press conference on military operations across the country in Abuja. He explained that the success was recorded in series of land and air interdictions at the fringes of various villages and communities in Borno and Yobe states. Correspondent Marian Inakamo reports that the DMO said the troops had in one of the operations neutralized 52 terrorists, arrested 14 others, and rescued 3 of the abducted Chibok girls named Yinke Yama, Falmata Lawal, and Asabe Ali. He added that the airstrike resulted in the killing of a large number of the insurgents, while the land component mopped up the fleeing terrorists.
Troops also rescued 3 abducted Chibok girls, namely Jinkia Yama, Falmata Lawal, and Asabe Ali, who were on Syria 3, 20, and 24 of the suspected of the adopted Chibok girls' list. They were rescued at different locations with their children and 19 other adoptees.
Meanwhile, the Department of State Services has stated that Tukur Mamu will be taken to court. In a statement issued by the spokesman of the services, Dr. Peter Afunaya said while investigations are still ongoing on Mamu's case, incriminating materials, including military accoutrements, were recovered from his residence and office. Other items said to have also been recovered include large amounts of money in different currencies and denominations, as well as financial transaction instruments. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, has received the federal government Level 5 Platinum Level Award for outstanding performance in corporate governance and accountability by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. The award is based on the corporation's outstanding score of 93% in the BPSR self-assessment tool that was deployed to federal ministries, departments, and agencies to assess and enhance service delivery. Presenting the award to their corporation, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Barrister Boss Mustafa, represented by the Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination, Dr. Habiba Lawal, applauded NDIC for the courage and commitment during the exercise. The Chairman, NDIC Board of Directors, Ronke Shokefo, and the Managing Director, Belu Hassan, both congratulated the NDIC board, management team and staff for the feat achieved. Hassan said since the assessment from the BPSR, the NDIC has continued to benchmark itself with international standards and best practices through a culture of continuous process improvement and service delivery to its various stakeholders. Meanwhile, the board chairman, Shukefun, said the NDIC would continue to strive for excellence in delivery of its mandate while implementing recommendations of the BPSR report. The executive officers of Mile 12 Market in Ikosiketu Local Council Development Area of Lagos State has called on the state government to give an international status to the market for keeping to the Health Code of Conduct. The EXCO, who led other market women and men on the weekly environmental sanitation at the market, maintained that the market has continuously kept its cleanliness above an average level. They said that playing the role of watchdog on every player at the market has earned it a place to trade by all and sundry.
What he needs to do is to see how he can develop the market to international standards, and this is where we are today. And I knew as we enter, you saw that it's a lot of changes. Some of you, the press people who have been in this market for the last 10 years, they will now come and see that yes, exactly myself has.
You're still watching the primetime news on MITV. Up next are stories from the foreign scene. Welcome back. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, has died at the age of 96. Prince Charles, 73, heir to the throne since the age of 3, is now king, and the Duchess of Cornwall is now queen consort. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said, "The Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen consort will remain at Balmoral till evening and will return to London tomorrow." The royal family's official website carried the message. Queen Elizabeth II, 1926 to 2022, along with the official statement issued by Buckingham Palace. Flags on landmark buildings in Britain were being lowered to half-mast as a period of official mourning was announced. Royal residences that are open to the public will be closed. It's expected the bells of Westminster Abbey and St. Paul's Cathedral will toll their bells at midday on Friday, and ceremonial gun salutes will be fired in Hyde Park and at Tower Hill in London. As Queen of the UK and 14 other realms and head of the 54-nation Commonwealth, Elizabeth II was easily the world's most recognizable head of state during an extraordinarily long reign. Coming to the throne at the age of 25, she successfully steered the monarchy through decades of turbulent change, with her personal popularity providing balance during the institution's more difficult times. Aside from most of it, the Duke of Edinburgh remained her strength and stay during a marriage that withstood many strains imposed by her unique position. Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary was born in London on 21st April 1926. At the time, no one expected her to be queen, as she was third in line to the throne behind her uncle and father. During her record-breaking reign, she dedicated her life to serving her country and Commonwealth. May her soul rest in peace. British Prime Minister Liz Truss has said domestic fuel bills will be frozen for 2 years, marking her first week in office with a costly plan to tackle the country's cost of living crisis. The government said on Thursday it would also review progress towards its legally enshrined target to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050, to ensure the needs of consumers and businesses are taken into account, while stressing it remained committed to the goal. Households are facing an 80% hike in gas and electricity bills next month due to the rise in the cost of wholesale energy, made worse by a squeeze on supplies after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Businesses whose bills are not capped have warned they could go to the wall because of even bigger rises at the same time as inflation is at 40-year high of 10.1% and predicted to go higher. The government expects the state-backed scheme to cost tens of billions of pounds, but Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng, UK's new finance minister, insisted it would have substantial benefits to the economy. We'll take another break to bring you sport news. Nigerian sprinter Tobi Amusan has won the women's 100 mh at the Diamond League final in Zurich, breaking a 22-year-old meeting record. The World and Commonwealth Games 100-meter hurdles champion and record holder finished in 12.29 seconds. American Tia Jones came in second in 12.40 seconds, while Brittany Anderson of Jamaica ran 12.42 seconds to finish third. This adds to her golden feat this year, with golden medals won at the World Athletics Championship in Oregon and at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in the United Kingdom. Arsenal got their Europa League campaign off to a positive start with a 2-1 win over FC Zurich on Wednesday evening, with the players mourning the passing of the Queen with a minute's silence before the start of the second period. The Gunners started slowly but gradually came into the game and took the lead at the end of a sweeping counter-attack in the 16th minute. Fabio Vieira played the ball into space as the pace of Eddie Nketiah saw him break in behind and cross for Marquinhos to turn home an emphatic finish on his club debut. Nketiah, atoning for his earlier error, scored the deciding goal in the 62nd minute when heading home Marquinhos' cross at the back post. The winner prompted a muted response from players on the pitch, as well as manager Mikel Arteta wearing a black armband on the sidelines in light of the sad news from Buckingham Palace. And finally, Chelsea have appointed Brighton manager Graham Potter as Thomas Tuchel's replacement. The Blues moved quickly for Potter after dropping the axe on Tuchel following the 1-0 defeat to Dinamo Zagreb. That abject Champions League display on Tuesday night saw the German bow out on a low in a tournament he led the Blues to glory back in 2020-2021. Potter, 47, agreed to take the reins at Stamford Bridge after Chelsea paid the release clause in his Seagulls contract. Having signed a 5-year deal, the new Blue boss said, "I am incredibly proud and excited to present this fantastic football club." He said he was excited to partner with Chelsea's new ownership group and look forward to meeting and working with the exciting group of players and to develop a team and culture that the fans can be proud of. Potter's first game in charge of Chelsea will be a London derby at neighbours Fulham on Saturday lunchtime. And that's all on the primetime news on MITV. But before we leave, we'll take a recap of the top stories. We told you that Pengassan begins protest over oil theft. Also on 2023, focus is on local elections. Federal government urges Nigerians. And the chairman, PDP Board of Trustees, Walid Jibrin, has stepped down. On the foreign scene, told you that the Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, has died aged 96. And in sports, Tobi Amusan again breaks 22-year-old record at Diamond League. Thanks for staying with us. I am Jumoke Michaels. Good night.